Welcome to This Daring Adventure podcast, where we work on bridging the gap between where we are and where we want to be in order to live a bigger and bolder life. In this podcast, we will provide inspiration, tips, and skills you need to make your life the adventure you want it to be. Here's your host, mindset mentor, and life coach, Trista Gurton.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of This Daring Adventure. Welcome. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm your host, Trista Gurton. I'm a life coach and mindset mentor. So today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about investing in yourself and in particular, investing in coaching and why you might want to consider doing that yourself. I'm going to go over some of the reasons why I started coaching, how I started investing in it, and why. And then I have my top 10 reasons why you should invest in coaching for yourself. So let's dive in. So for me, coaching has helped me to become a calmer, lighter, more at ease version of myself. Certainly, I think I was prone to getting really irritated. I was prone to reacting to a lot of my feelings, like anger, frustration. I mean, I wasn't, I don't think you would necessarily say I had a temper or whatnot, but I certainly did let things get to me and I would react. And I tell the story of how I started driving in the Middle East and in Lebanon and how particularly stressful that was for me. And so coaching was, instrumental in helping me just to relax and become a calmer version of myself and not to have these extreme highs and lows. And listen, I still get upset. I still get excited. I mean, there's all that, but it's certainly not the extremes of anger, frustration, and irritation that I used to experience previously. I also have found with my coaching experience that I now think more actively about my future instead of my past. I've done a lot of work cleaning up some of the past regrets, disappointments, conversations, events that have sort of played on my mind over the years. And these can be really small things, like literally a conversation that I had with someone, or bigger things like relationships, turning down a job offer, death of a pet, whatever it is. But these things that I would from time to time think about, which still held an emotional charge for me and which oftentimes would still upset me. And so coaching taught me how to process my emotions and how to eliminate the emotional charge related to those events. And then I learned how to reframe the story so that I'm not a victim, I'm the hero. And it's very clear in my mind how those events and how those situations helped me to grow, what I've learned from them, and that it's worked out for me in some way. And I'm not dwelling in the past in any sort of negative manner. And as I mentioned, I'm spending more time thinking about my future. Once you process all the emotional charge around those past events, I don't spend time thinking about them anymore. I don't spend energy, emotional energy, physical energy, thinking about them and getting that emotional charge so that it doesn't drain me in a way that prevents me from doing anything constructive and from moving forward in my life. So then it opens up the space for me to think about what I want to create in the future. And I recognize that my past is done. And I try to spend as little time thinking about it as I can. It's not that I don't appreciate it. It's not that I'm not glad that it didn't happen, whatever it is, but that's not where I'm headed. I'm headed forward into my future, and my day-to-day thought patterns and emotions and actions are all geared towards what I'm going to create for myself in the years ahead. The third thing that I've really learned from coaching is to expand the possibilities of what I think is actually possible for myself and my life. My coach has really expanded her life and her business in a way that has become an inspiration to me and many of the other coaches that I know who have worked with her. She has really challenged us, and this is what I hope to do with my own clients when I work with them, is to think not just outside the box, but completely outside everything within the realm that we currently think is feasible, possible, realistic. And to start brainstorming and to start opening our minds up to what might be possible. And so this is what I've started to do for myself and what I've done through starting my own coaching practice and business, and then transitioning from my current day job, humanitarian aid, into a full-time entrepreneur and coach. And then it goes to everything, including how much money I want to make, where I want to live, my relationships. Everything I want to do and be in my future is so much bigger and bolder than I ever could have imagined a year or two ago. And it's really exciting and it's really a lot of fun. And so this is one of the greatest benefits I've experienced through coaching. And as I said, it's a part of the work that I now do with my clients, looking towards the future and expanding what we currently think is possible for ourselves. Fourth thing that I think I've really benefited from through coaching is my relationships with people. And this is at all levels. It's with my parents, my brother, my sister-in-law, my friends, my colleagues, and my clients, my coaches, and people that I meet now on a daily basis. And I feel a lot more comfortable with myself. So I think that has helped me to have an easier and more comfortable relationship with others. I've also learned to just love unconditionally and to accept people the way they are. We talk a lot in coaching about manuals and emotional adulthood, which I will cover in future episodes. But basically understanding that adults can act any way that they want to and that I can't control them. And just to accept whatever they do and say. And that doesn't mean that you don't have boundaries or that you don't make requests, but certainly just giving people that space and that understanding has really made me feel lighter, and I don't get upset anymore if people don't do what I think they should do, because I don't have those expectations anymore. And it's just a freer, lighter experience because I don't have to let it bother me. You know, whoever it is can go and do what they want. And it's really, I don't worry so much about it anymore. And I don't get upset because I know I don't have any control over it. So those are some of the most important benefits that I've experienced through coaching. And certainly all of these things are available to you if you work with a coach. And so I also came up with a list of 10 things that I thought were worth the investment in coaching. And coaching is an investment. It's an investment in yourself. It's one that I've taken on for myself very seriously. I started investing first on a monthly basis for the coaching program that I enrolled in with my coach. And then I invested in becoming a coach myself. I invested in business coaching, personal coaching. I am still a part of the coaching membership that I started with a few years ago. I'm currently going through master coach training, which is another investment, which was important to me. And I plan on investing in coaching for the rest of my life. To me, it's a non-negotiable component of my mental health and my emotional well-being. So I can't recommend it highly enough. And so let me give you some of the top 10 reasons why it can be such a great investment for you. So the first one is that it's an investment in your brain. Right? It's an investment, an opportunity to learn. And it's also an important opportunity to understand in a greater way how your brain functions. And we know that the brain is capable of a great deal. You hear all the stories about how, we're only using a fraction of what our brain is able to do. And learning how to understand greater some of the reasons why we think the way we do, and then we act the way we do, and the way we feel the way we do, and what can be done about it, how to better manage our thinking, and to create on purpose thoughts that will help us to create the results that we want. Before I started coaching, I felt like I was at the mercy of my thinking. And you don't even really realize in a lot of respects how out of control we can feel at times because we're believing everything that our brain tells us. We think it's fact, we think it's real, we think it's important. But the truth is, none of those things are necessarily true. And our brain will offer us a lot of thoughts through the course of the day, but we don't have to believe all of it. And in fact, if it's not serving us, we can choose to think different thoughts, which do. So it's learning that skill of managing your mind in order to think on purpose, which is a great investment for your mind, your brain, and your overall life. The second benefit of investing in coaching is the gaining awareness of your emotions and processing those emotions. I didn't really think too much about how I was feeling. And in that, I mean naming the emotion and consciously being aware of how I'm feeling at any given time. On the flip side, sometimes when I was feeling a certain emotion, frustration, disappointment, regret, I would try and push it away, change it, or what we call buffering or numbing it, in that I would eat a bag of chips, I would sit and watch Netflix for hours, maybe go shopping, and maybe have a glass of wine or two, anything to get away from feeling that particular emotion. And So understanding that these emotions are harmless, they're not an emergency. You don't have to react to them or resist them or do anything. You can just allow them. And in fact, the best way through them is to allow them. You will process them through quicker, and then you'll be able to move on. It's when we don't process and allow them that they tend to hold on. And so part of what I was talking about earlier about the past and the emotional charge that I still felt when I thought about past events or situations or conversations was because I hadn't allowed myself to process those emotions. So gaining that awareness and learning how to process my emotions was one of the greatest skills that I have learned. And this is also a really important part of the work that I do in my own coaching. If you can gain that awareness and allow your emotions and know that they're not going to harm you, and in fact, feeling those emotions is the key to getting whatever you want in your life. The third is it's an overall investment in your mental health and your emotional well-being. I think this is becoming a little bit more mainstream than it has in the past, but paying attention to yourself, giving yourself that self-care, investing the time and the money and the energy into taking care of yourself first so that you have something to give to others. I talk to a lot of women who are extremely busy with, being a mother, being an entrepreneur, being an employee, and they're not investing the time to take care of themselves. And this is when we start to see people feeling burnt out, frustrated, just worn out as a whole. And so if you can invest that time and that money and that energy into taking care of yourself first, then you will have more to give. And this is one of the ways that coaching can help, processing your emotions, learning about your thoughts, spending that time in getting in touch with yourself and understanding what's going on so that you can start to improve and learn and grow and expand. So you will always have then more to give. The fourth reason why coaching is such a great investment is because you matter and your dreams matter. A lot of times people will downplay themselves and that they aren't worth spending the time or the money or the energy, that it's too late, that they're not good enough, that it's not possible for them, that they're never going to be able to do it anyway. And all I want to say is that it's never too late. You're not too old. You are good enough. You are smart enough. You can figure this out. And it all matters. You matter. Your dreams matter. So by investing in coaching, you are recognizing that you are important and that your dreams are important and they're worth your time and your energy. The fifth reason is it's an opportunity to up-level your life and become your best self. When I started coaching, I went for a particular reason. It was to have to do with a relationship. And I started learning the tools and the skills that would help me with that relationship in particular. But the beautiful thing is that the tools and the skills that I was learning applied to every area in my life. And so I could start to see changes in my health, my weight, my money, my career, everything started to experience, or at least in every area, I started to experience changes and improvements because I could apply the same tools and the same skills. And once you start to gain that awareness, once you start to build up these skills and become more proficient at them through practice, through patience, and through time and effort, you can start to see how all these changes are happening in your life at the same time. And it's very exciting and it's very amazing. And you don't expect it. I think it was a surprise for me, but a very pleasant surprise and a very exciting opportunity to, what I thought was just one small problem that I was trying to solve became something that touched my entire life and my entire being. And now I realize that that was just the beginning and that there is no end, that this is a journey now that I'm going to be on for the rest of my life, and that anything is possible because of the tools and the skills that I've learned. So you really do start to up-level your life and start stepping into a bigger, bolder version of yourself, your best self. And it's going to be a lifelong journey. So the sixth reason why coaching is such a great investment is because it's an investment in your future. As I mentioned before, I stopped spending so much time thinking about my past, and I'm spending all of my time and energy about creating my future and what's possible for me. I think that this is one of the best benefits of investing in coaching, because I think prior to investing in coaching, I think I could have just gone along. I think probably the next 10 to 20 years of my life would have been good. I don't think it would have been bad necessarily. I think I could have continued on the way I was. I sort of had a 10-year plan and that's what I was going to follow. But with coaching, I've realized that there's so much more opportunities out there for me, and anything is truly possible. And so I've set bigger goals for myself. And I think that I'm going to create a much more exciting future than my past. And that every year is going to get better and better. So I think that's a very exciting prospect, because I think we tend to reach adulthood. And, once we've sort of started our career and hit a point there, sometimes, getting married, having kids, buying the house, doing all of the things, we sort of reach a point where, well, the next thing is retirement. And we sort of wait until retirement to see, okay, well, then we're going to travel and we're going to do the things. But coaching has made me realize that I have a lot more to look forward to in my future. And that's because I have the choice and that I can create it for myself. The seventh benefit of investing in coaching is the clarity. The clarity comes from understanding how you can improve yourself and your relationships, and how you can go through life in a way that it doesn't have to be all of this drama, and it doesn't have to be all of these disappointments and stress. And I think it becomes clear that we have a lot more control, we have a lot more authority, and we have a lot more responsibility over our lives than I previously realized. And so I think for me, the clarity is that I can see now what I have responsibility over and what changes I can make and how I want to live my life accordingly. And owning that power once again and having that control over my life just means that I can go forward, and it seems very simple and very straightforward now in a way that it never did before. So that clarity comes from just understanding better how my brain works, how my mind works, how I'm thinking, how I'm feeling, how I can create the results in my life, and what I can control and where my power is. It's all very clear to me now. And so I'm excited. I'm excited about my future. I'm excited about my life. And I don't ever think that anything's going to change in that regard. The eighth benefit of investing in coaching is, as I mentioned earlier, it's a form of self-care. And as well as being able to take care of yourself emotionally and taking care of your mental health, it is really the best way to take care of other people. And it really is the best way to understand. So the eighth way that coaching is a great investment is it helps you to follow through with your goals and your dreams. I have learned such a great deal about setting goals, understanding what I want for myself, and why it's so important to know precisely what that is, and to generate my own motivation and discipline, that I can now set bigger and bolder goals for myself in a way that I never could have before. Understanding what your brain is going to offer you, understanding that the primitive part of our brain, although it means well, although it is trying to protect us and it is trying to keep us safe, it will sabotage us and keep us playing small and hold us back if we allow it to. And so overcoming and overriding some of those primitive instincts and learning how to generate my own discipline and my own motivation on a daily basis is what's going to get me to those goals. And so I think once you learn those skills, it's just a matter of practicing and becoming more proficient at them. And you set one goal and you work through it. You work through whatever comes up, all the emotions, all the challenges, whatever obstacles that come up along the way, and you achieve that goal. And it's a skill that you've learned. And so the next time you can set another bigger goal and you work through those obstacles, you work through whatever emotions and whatever thoughts come up, and you keep going and you keep taking action and you overcome the obstacles and you reach your goal. And this is the way that we really expand and grow. It's not so much the end result. It's not so much the end goal, but it's the process, and it's who we become along the way. Because some of the best growth, some of the biggest growth you're going to experience is when you've set that goal for yourself and you work through it to achieve it. So the ninth benefit of investing in coaching is the elimination of buffering and numbing. And I touched on this a little bit earlier about emotions, but what I've learned is how to allow my emotions so that I don't need to indulge in some of the things that I used to indulge. And that could be scrolling endlessly on social media. It could be, the regular glasses of wine at the end of the day, the bag of chips, shopping online. And I think those were the main ones, but certainly, and food, for sure, food, not just the bag of chips, but there was definitely a lot of eating and a lot of importance on what I was eating and when. And so I've really done a lot of work to just dial all of that down. I've become a lot more aware of it. I have learned how to let go of a lot of it and move through it, and really to reduce its overall hold on me. So I get to Friday night and it's not as important to me to have half a bottle of wine and bags of chips and just sit and endlessly watch Netflix for 5 hours. And so I think that has definitely had an overall impact on my weight and my health and my bank account and my productivity, because I'm not mindlessly just scrolling or watching anymore. And it's not that I don't watch Netflix, and it's not that I don't, watch movies and do all the things, but it's not as mindless anymore. It's a lot more conscious, and it doesn't take up as much as my time because I'm spending my time creating and learning and doing things, taking action towards what I want to create in my life, not just trying to avoid it. And the 10th reason why coaching is such a great investment is that it improves my relationship with myself. And one of the things that my coach says, and which I repeat often, is that my relationship with myself is the most important relationship I will have. And so I have learned how to foster greater self-confidence and self-love, which have become the foundation for this relationship and for me creating the life that I want. I'm not indulging in self-doubt or imposter syndrome. I believe that I am 100% worthy, and I don't doubt that anymore. And I know that I'm good enough, and that I know I can do whatever now I set my mind to. And I believe I will figure it out no matter what happens. And this relationship really is what's going to carry me through whatever obstacles, whatever challenges I face, and will foster that ability in me to go forward into my future, set those big goals, and continue after them. And this is also a very important part of the work that I do now with my clients, because it really is the foundation on which you're going to create the life that you truly desire. And once you start to build that relationship, you don't go back. You gain that awareness. You decide you are worthy. You understand what it means to have self-confidence and self-love, and you cultivate that. You drop the self-criticism and the beating yourself up and telling yourself what you should and shouldn't be doing. And you move through the world with a lightness and an ease that allows you to not only have better relationships with others, but that gives you that ability to move forward and pursue your own growth and expansion and becoming the best version of yourself. So that's what I have for you today. I hope you will consider those 10 reasons for investing in yourself with coaching. It has had a profound effect on me and my life, personally, professionally, and it's really an exciting opportunity to learn how to manage your mind, your thoughts, your feelings, create your actions, create those amazing results in your life, and create opportunities and possibilities for yourself in ways that you never could have imagined previously. So if you're interested in trying coaching for yourself, There is a link in the show notes, or you can head over to my website. It's tristagurton.com, and you can schedule your own free 1-hour coaching session with me. It's an opportunity for you to learn more about coaching and to bring any problem you wish to get coached on. So I hope you will take me up on that and try it out for yourself. We'll have another episode in 2 weeks. And I thank you again for tuning in, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to This Daring Adventure podcast with your host, Trista Gurton. We hope you enjoyed the tips and conversations on how to get excited about life again. As always, you can head to tristagurton.com for additional resources and to book a one-on-one coaching session. You can also follow Trista on Instagram at Trista V. Gurton. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on Apple Podcasts. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.